Everybody. I want to first just double check. Is this consistent? Is this consistent with what I told you?
You said already.
Just want to make, because I have two sections. Sometimes I know I said it to somebody, but I can't remember if I said it to both classes. This is what I told you. Okay.
I thought our test, the reading test, yes, that's correct.
The written part would be on next Wednesday, which is exactly a week from today. And then because of breaks, because of the Easter break, we don't meet again for another week. And then we would come back Wednesday, and then that would be the lab test. Also, you should know, I just put in a request. Some of people here saw me do it. I'm going to have the laptops here for class on Friday, only for this reason, that I want to try to iron out any kind of computer difficulties that you have. Make sure I've answered all those questions. You can come with other non-computer questions, but just so you know, the laptop card will be in here, and I think I'll probably ask all of you to pick one up and have it handy, and then maybe I'll do a couple demos, and then we'll see if there's any question. I want to kind of zero in on the computer stuff next time. Okay, well then, back to the rest of Chapter 6. Here's where we kind of left off. Simpsons Paradox. Really a unique phenomenon. One that, if you're, I can't predict. All I can say is, when I read stuff like this, your first response is, what? And that's why it's called a paradox. It's almost like a complete reversal, and my first reaction is, you've got to be kidding me. Somebody must have made a mistake. So see if you react that way. But more importantly, I want you to see what's going on here and be able to recognize it when it happens. So here we go. Simpsons Paradox. I guess let's just look at a definition first. It says it's an association or comparison that holds for all of several groups. And that association can completely reverse direction when the data are combined to form a single group. I know it's hard to explain, but it's like we'll have several layers, and in every one, Group A wins. But when you combine them, Group B wins? What? You've got to be kidding me. That's kind of what you're going to see, and then you can judge for yourself. I think this is really a good example. It's all about airline delays. As you know, that's a big issue. If you do any amount of traveling by plane, of course, nobody likes to sit and wait while a plane is 2 hours late, or even worse, when they seem to not tell you what's going on. It says on time, and you look out the window and there isn't even a plane there, and you're like, on time? You want to give me some more accurate information than that? What, the plane's going to come in the next 15 seconds and we're all going to get loaded on time? That doesn't make, I always hated, I'd rather have them be up front with me and say, at least 20-minute delay or something like that, instead of this on time. And meanwhile, there's a virtual plane sitting out there. Okay. But anyway, it's a big issue, right? Nobody likes delays. Well, here's the situation where what we're going to do is study two airlines, Alaska Airlines and America West Airlines. So these two columns on the left represent data concerning Alaska Airlines, and these two represent America West. And you notice that we have several what? Departure cities for both airlines. Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle. By the way, this is real data. So again, this is not just some made-up thing. Now, you notice we've got numbers here. So what this means is Alaska Airlines, flying out of LA, had 497 flights on time, and they had 62 flights that had some kind of delay. Okay, that's what that means. Whereas America West, flying out of LA, had 694 flights on time and 117 delays. Okay, so which airline did better? Well, we need something else, don't we, to help really answer that question? What do you, based on what we talked about last time, can anybody offer an opinion on that? What do you wish we had? What kind of numbers or what kind of thing would you like to have to really make a nice, easy, direct comparison? You know, like, so I know who did better out of LA, who did better out of Phoenix, etc. Exactly, percents. Wouldn't I like to know what percentage of Los Angeles flights for Alaska Airlines were on time? And wouldn't I like, you know, and if I could compare the Alaska percentage of on times versus the America West percentage of on times out of LA, then I could say, hey, in LA, you're the winner. Yeah. So what we need to do is insert a couple columns here. By the way, where do you think we should put them? Well, we want to put the percentage for Alaska by the Alaskans, and we want to put so we probably would what? Put a column in here maybe for the Alaska airline percentages, and then over here. That makes sense? So here's a case where you just insert some columns, and you could calculate it pretty quickly. Here I did that for you. Notice I stuck in two new columns. I called it the percent delay. Instead of saying percent on time, I went with delay. Doesn't matter, really. I guess I was being a negative person at the time. But now that you have the numbers up there, and I just wrote them in decimal form, so who did better out of LA? Which airline did better? The percent delay for Alaska was a little bit over 11%, 11.1 if you round off, whereas America West did, what, 14.4? So who did better? Alaska won in the LA race, all right? How about Phoenix? Alaska won, 5% to what? Or 5.1% to 7.9? Who won in San Diego? How about that? Alaska, 8.6% to 14.5. Who won in San Francisco? How about that? Alaska Airlines. Who won in Seattle? Alaska Airlines. Okay, well that's a slam dunk, right? Okay, now I ran the totals. I can honestly tell you I added these up correctly. And I ran the percents down there. Who won overall? America West. And now your mind should be going, what? I hope at least you have a little bit of that in your head, right? How in the world can Alaska win every single city and lose? Well, if you look at it real carefully, so anyway, first of all, do you see that this is like a paradox? That's why it's called that. What in the world caused this reversal? How can that be? Honestly, the math is right. I didn't pull any shenanigans and add wrong or something. So how in the world can this happen? Now, if you look carefully at the numbers, I think you can figure it out. I'm going to just let you kind of look at the individual data and see if anything stands out. Is there anything a little bit unusual or remarkable about any of the cities or any of the I mean, there's actually a logical reason for the reversal. It's not like mystical.
Is it because of Phoenix? Well, maybe.
Yeah, it does have to do with Phoenix. What about Phoenix stands out to you?
The amount of flights they actually had.
Yeah, a huge amount of flights, exactly. Isn't this data way out of whack with the others? I mean, look at the number of flights on time here. 4,840 as opposed to everything else, the highest is 700. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on there. Now, and so, but America West didn't even win Phoenix. Alaska did. I mean, even in Phoenix, Alaska had 5.1% delay, and America West had 7.9, so they didn't win. But because they have so many flights then, and they didn't lose by much in that category, that's what's skewing this thing. By the way, there's a logical reason for this. I know a little bit about geography. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the Phoenix area. Have any of you ever flown in or out of the airport there? What can you tell me about, just this isn't real deep stuff, but what can you tell me about flying in or out of Phoenix? Anybody? You don't even have to have been there. They have almost no delays in Phoenix. Why? They don't have very much rain. They don't have a lot of windstorms either. And so from an airplane standpoint, this is smiley face place, okay? Because even though actually the only problems they have are with the asphalt melting, they actually have problems with that. It gets so doggone hot there. But I mean, that can be overcome. But they really, what's the big problem with airlines? Well, if it's really overcast, they have to be a little more careful when they make their landings and their flights because they got to go strictly by instrumentation, and they can't see very far in front of them. Winds are of course a big problem because by the way, how many of you saw the practically sideways landing video not too long ago? Did anybody see that? Airplane was trying to land at, where was it? Is that?
No, I just saw it.
There was like 90 mile an hour side winds, something ridiculous like that. The plane is coming down, and I'm not kidding you. It was almost turned sideways when it actually attempted to touch down, and the one wheel caught, and the plane it was almost a total disaster. The wing came down, and of course, if it would have hit the ground, turned out he aborted and he took off again. But anyway, winds is of course a major problem. Well, anyway, Phoenix has about some of the best weather. LA is pretty good, but I was going to say Las Vegas is another one where there's just usually not too many weather problems. So anyway, America West, guess where their home base is? Phoenix. So that's why this number is so high. I mean, in fact, that's what America West kind of specializes. Well, their hub is Phoenix, and they specialize in the American West. They fly other places, but that's kind of where they center. So anyway, what else can I say to you? Here, Seattle is a good example of a city that has a lot of overcast skies because they're by the ocean, and there's these ocean breezes coming in, and so, take a look at the Seattle numbers. You're going to notice everybody is worse in Seattle. Another one is San Francisco. San Francisco can be a disaster. San Francisco can be perfectly sunny, and the airport will be totally foggy, simply because of kind of a fog that rolls off the ocean. So just weird stuff like that. So, okay, the bottom line is, Simpsons Paradox says, even though one entity completely beats the tail off the other one in every single category, like in this case, when you do a composite and bring things together, it's possible to have a complete reversal like we have here. And you need to be able to spot it. I mean, if there is no reversal, well, then obviously we don't have any paradox. But you need to spot it, and then I think it's good for you to do a little analysis, like Taisha did. Because of Phoenix, definitely. It's usually some real lopsided outlier, like here, that completely affects. So even though they only did 7.9% delay, because it had so many successful on-time flights, way out of whack with the others, it skews the rest of the data. So that's Simpson. There are probably other examples of that, but I really thought this was a good one. Let me just, maybe what we should do, I can't remember, where is that problem? Is that in here? 133? And what's the data? We should probably just, I want to show you how to add those columns, make sure you know how to do it. 133.
143.
Oh, 43. So, exercise 6-9. Okay. You know, and while I'm on this, I got it staring at us. We're going to do something different with the assignment in Chapter 6, okay? I'm going to tell you right out now, I am not collecting the assignment on Chapter 6. You know, but, and you know, I've written down 1 to 25 odds. You need to get in there and try some of these, because I'm going to be asking you about this stuff on the test, okay? So, it's up to you. I'm laying it in your own lap. You want to ignore it, go ahead. But it's going to whack you between the two eyeballs when I give you the test, okay? And I don't want to do that. So, but I'm just saying to you, you got to just yourself make sure you understand 1 to 25 odds. Does that make so? A little bit different approach. I'm not going to leave any doubt about this one. And part of the reason for that is because we're going to be focusing. It's not that this isn't important. But we're going to be focusing on 4 through 6 review, and you know, you guys can come to class and say, hey, could you do number 14 or number 15 on the odds on Chapter 6? Sure, I'll be happy to. I'm just a little different approach. Okay, so now, after all that talking, I forgot again. What is it? Exercise 6-9. Yeah. Okay. Well, first we got to construct our table. So here we go again with one of these deals. All right. We got just a huge pile of data, which probably goes, well, it must go into the thousands. Let me just locate the bottom cell here. By the way, the quicker way to scroll, you probably know by now, if you use the arrow, you're going to be getting sick and waiting a long time. If you use the page down key, it'll go down more quickly. So it looks like we're over, what are we on, 11,001. So from 2 to 11,001. Okay. So let's first of all make our table. Yeah, and the book kind of gives us the guideline there. We need several columns here, don't we? So we need, first of all, rows named Los Angeles. And I need what? On top, I need at least 2 vacant rows. So I'm just going to call that LA. Then we have Phoenix, San Diego, San Fran, Seattle. Okay, and then let's see, way up on top, I'm going to call this what? Alaska. I need 2 columns. Actually, I'm going to reserve 3 columns right away. Why? Because we're going to insert a percent column after. So I got the 2, the on time delayed, and then I'm leaving a H column. I'm leaving for a percentage. And then the next 2 will be America West. Okay, and then, yeah, okay. So now we got our plan. So now let's get our counts in there. So here's our review. I should blow this up a little so you can see it better, huh? Okay, let's see. Where do we zoom on this thing? Oh, view. There we go. Maybe go 140 or something like that.
Are you going to name the other column on time?
I could put those in now. Yes. She's saying before I do that, I should probably label these. I agree. And then let's put our new, let's put our new columns in. Percent delayed, percent delayed. Okay, so you're right. We should probably get our labels in. Okay, so let's do it. Equals, count ifs. Okay, now I want to what? Count in A2, whoops, A2 colon through A 11,001. And I want to, and here they have the cities just named, right? So I got to write Los Angeles, and I don't think they do it with any space. I'll find out. And then I want on time in the B2 to be 11,001. Let's see if does that look right? 11,000? That does not look correct. I see what I never did do we got the airline to check too. Okay, so I want Alaska for the 3rd. So all I got to do is go in here. So this is even more complicated. I got to check 3 variables here. I got to say from C2 through C 11,001, I need to have Alaska. 497? Yes. Okay. So do you see this is the first time I did a count ifs where I had 3 variables? Let's do all the ones on the top, and then let's copy and modify coming down. So in this column, I want to do everything the same, except in fact, let me try copying it sideways. Let's see what happens. Okay, now, the bad news is I got to change all the B's to A's. I got to change the C's to B's. And I have to change the D to C. Okay, now what else do I need to change? Instead of on time, I'm in the delayed column. If I did it right, yeah, it looks like I did. So do you see where we can save a little bit of time there? So let's try copying this sideways too. I'll just take both of these, copy. By the way, that's Control C. You can do, and then come over here and do Control V for paste. I don't know how many of you use that on computers, but it works in just about every program for copy paste. All right, now my cells are going to be way off. My D's are going to, that's first one has to be A's. But those aren't too bad to change, are they? And then this has to be B. And this has to be C. All right, what else? I need to change the airline to America West. What else? I want on time, and this is LA. This should do it. Does that come out right? 694. Yep. Okay, now over here, A. B. C. And now I want what? Delayed. What else do I need to change here? Oh, we got to change it to America West. I think that should do it. Does that come out right? Okay, cool. Now, well, I don't know what the easiest thing is to do. Should we keep moving left to right? I almost think that's a little bit easier than the editing that from moving up to down. So I'm going to do this one raw. Count ifs. A2 to A 11,001. And now the first column I'm looking for what? The city, I believe. Second column, whoop, B2 through B 11,001. I'm looking for on time. And in the third column, I'm looking for the airline, which is back to Alaska. Ah. Close parentheses. 221. That looks good. Okay, now let's copy, paste. Let's just go in and change the B's to A's, C to B, D to C, and of course the difference is I'm now in the delayed column, so I have to change on time to $12. Okay, now should we do this again? Grab them both, copy, paste, come in here and start editing. A, B, C, and then I have to change it to America West, right? Wow, there's that humongous one, 4,840. Okay, and over here, I promise I won't do any more long ones like this, but I think we should just keep following through and finish this one up because and then like I said, Friday, some of you maybe didn't hear this, but I'm going to have the computers in here Friday, and maybe we'll just try to zero in questions, chapters 4 through 6 for all 3 chapters. Change that bit. Okay, I got to change the airline. So is that right? Phoenix, delayed, America West, 415 is correct. Okay. 3 more. Now let's just try this. What if I take this, copy it down? See how bad the edits are. Okay, what's wrong here? Well, I got to change all these numbers. That's the bad news. 2 to 11,001. 2 to 11,001. 2 to 11,001. Okay, now I've got to change the city. I believe there's no space in the data file. We want on time, that's correct, and I want Alaska, so that should be it. 212 looks correct. Okay, this one, now they're off by 2. So you know I probably should just copy the last one. It'll make it just a little easier. Now I'm only off by 1. Change the city to San Francisco. Otherwise, we should be okay. 503 hopefully is correct. Copy, paste. So I think as long as you're aware you can tweak these formulas fairly easily. I think I would carefully use copy and paste, but really double check your formulas. Of course, you can always look in the book and make sure. And now I got to change it to Seattle. $18.41. By the way, that's a pretty big number too, isn't it? Guess where one of Alaska Airlines hubs is? Seattle. That shouldn't be too surprising. Seattle's one of the closest cities to Alaska. I mean, one of the closest cities in the lower 48, right? So it makes sense that they're going to be flying in and out of Seattle a lot. Okay, let's quick do this. Copy, paste. Page 2, 11,001. You know what? Since the city is easier to copy, I'm going to do it this way. Copy it to the right. Actually, I like that better. Then all I got to do is change the letters. I still find it a little easier to copy laterally than to copy down. And there might even be a way to copy paste relatively so it adjusts that. I'm not familiar. I used to be able to do it long ago in AppleWorks. Okay, let's see. So I've got the letters changed. I've got the city correct, but I need to change it to delayed. $20 correct, hopefully. Copy, paste. A, B, C, C. I guess I'm not going to bore you anymore with this. Okay, does everybody... I got to see. Maybe I have this done. Hang on a second. I mean, I know I have a picture of it here. So, just a minute. Well, what's this problem? 6-9? Might be under Simpsons. Wrong one. Okay, here we go. Now let's make believe I don't have those. So I got all the other numbers done. Make believe now I've finished doing that. Now comes these new columns. So what do I do? Now here's one I'm a little bit worried about this. I've got on time and I've got delayed. How do I find percent delayed? Before I start, tell me. This is kind of a basic principle of math. How do you find the percent of something? How do I find the percent delayed? Well, obviously it's the amount delayed, 62 in this first one, divided by what? Not 497. How do you find the percent of something? Don't you have to divide by the total? So what I have to do is take 62 divided by the sum of those two. So I'm going to write that this way. I'm going to say take what's in cell C6 and divide it by parentheses. And this is important to use a formula because then I can copy it and then I won't have to do it more than once. Take what's in cell B6 added to what's in cell C6. Close parentheses, and there's my percent. Now, once I got that, look, copy, paste. Well, I shouldn't have put it in this blank cell here. I'll just delete that one. But there they are, all done. Over here, we'll do a similar thing. Equals. Take the amount delayed, what's in cell F6, divide by parentheses the sum of E6 and F6. You get the labeling of columns. You know how to do that. So now that should be the correct percent there. And then if I do copy, paste, and I'll just get rid of this blank one where it's trying to divide by 0. Now, I don't know. Do I have all my numbers right? But anyway, what's the deal here? Overall, Alaska won every single one, but lost overall. Yeah, you can see it here now. And the percents make it obvious to the eyeballs, right? Okay, so there's a little bit of Excel work in combination with getting more familiar with Simpsons Paradox. Well, let me go back here and see where else. Yeah, this was just a couple of the review questions thrown in here. Like I said with the assignment, these are the problems I need you to know how to do, but it's up to you. I'm not going to collect them this time. And so, but I mean, problems of that type I may ask you about, and of course you may ask me about in our next review days. Got 2 days to do that, Friday and Monday. Okay, let me just stop there and see if we have any questions. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll shift over and we'll start doing the 4 through 6 review. Anybody have any questions on the Simpsons or the Excel stuff? Maybe we can dive in and try doing some of that type of thing on Friday when we have the computers in here. Okay. By the way, if you would rather use your own laptop, just I'd encourage you to bring it along Friday. I mean, you don't have to use the ones I'm bringing. That's just a way of assuring that everybody has one. So if you want to bring your computer along, you're welcome to. You will need, the only thing that could hold you back, because that could take several hours. I need you to already have your computers set up for wireless, because we just don't have enough time to solve all of those issues during a lab period. But if you are able to hook up real easily to the wireless at WLC, cool. Bring along your computer, and then you can do it in your own environment, which probably will make you feel more comfortable. All right. Well, let me just click the save button here. We'll move over to, what did I do? Close it? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay, so our review sheets. Maybe we could just talk for a minute, even though we can cover this later, but tech issues. I'm going to be assuming some things about technology for, what is it, the 26th? Is that the date? Yeah, 14 days from today, 2 weeks from today when we're doing the lab test. I'm assuming everyone knows their username and password. Okay, please don't come in and say I don't know that, or I don't know my password. I mean, I'll try to help you, but there's no way I could help. You really need to know that already. I'm assuming everyone knows how to send email with attachments, because on the lab exam, I'm going to ask you to send me an email and to attach your Excel work to it. And then that's how I will correct it. I'll correct it electronically. So I'll have a piece of paper for you that day too, because you might want to do, even though most of it's going to be on the computer, you might want to do some things manually. They might be quicker. And so I'll collect a sheet, but primarily you're going to be handing things into me as attachments. So I'm assuming everybody can do that. This is a suggestion to all of you, technology-wise, to save all your files in your save them however you want. But I would encourage you to save them to I believe they're called your H drive, aren't they? Save them to your H drive, because then, just in case something gets messed up and I don't see your file, you've got a copy of it and you can still get it to me. So it's like a nice backup. I'm assuming everybody knows how to load data files from MyWLC. I've been doing that in class a lot, but I've never actually checked. Every once in a while, I'll find out at the end of the year somebody has done no data files the whole year and still doesn't know how to do it. I'm going to assume you know how to do it on the 26th, okay? And of course, like I said up here, you got to be able to get into your MyWLC account, or you can't even find it. Okay. Just a reminder, count ifs only works in Excel 2007. So here's another issue with your personal computer. If you want to use your own computer, you may not have 2007. Just so you know, that's going to keep you from doing problems like we were just doing. Well, it won't keep you from doing them, but you'll have to count everything manually. And when there's 11,000 lines, do you really want to sit there and count? No. You might get spreadsheet sick or something. Anyway, like I said before, the lab test will have some options to do a few things on paper. So have something to write with you, even though primarily most of you probably will do everything 100% on the computer. You might want to, some things might be just real quick to do on paper, and it's okay with me if you do them on paper. So I wanted to take a few minutes with that. Maybe that's all we can do today. So then when you come Friday, all right, we have 2 review days coming up, right? And Friday, Laptops will be in here, I hope. I just requested them. I'm hoping there's no conflict. And you want to bring your own? Great, go ahead. Be ready to dig in and do a bunch of computer things. I want to try to get over I'll do my best to get around and help everybody. It's going to be interesting with 30, so I'll do my best. And you know the schedule. Start working on the assignment. I'll see you.